if you don't cry till the meeting, after the meeting starts.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Eustis City Hall. It's Thursday, February the 18th, 2021. It's 6 p.m. Tonight, our invocation is going to be given by Antonio Wallace. He is a student at Eustis Middle School, and our pledge will be led by Commissioner Hawkins. If you would like to join us, please stand.
Join me in bowing our heads in a moment of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for waking us all up this morning and allowing us to see this wonderful day that you have made. Thank you for the wonderful city of Eustis and all of its residents, which come from different racial and ethnic diverse walks of life. Thank you for the commissioners, and I pray that they will allow the people of this beautiful city's voices to be heard. It's in your Son's name that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Antonio, thank you so much.
Beautiful prayer.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Go ahead and officially call our meeting to order. Mary, is there a quorum present? Proper notice been given?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nybert. Any agenda updates?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, before us we have the approval of minutes from our January the 9th, 2021 City Commission retreat. What's the will of our commission?
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of the minutes.
Thank you.
Second it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hawkins,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner LaHoop Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Cobb. Aye. Mayor Holland.
Aye. Next, we have presentations. First, we have the update regarding the City and Lake Community Action Agency Housing Rehab Program. Michael Roberson. Mike, you want to come up?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and all the commissioners. It's good to be back again. Good to see all of you guys. The last time I was here, we didn't have such a big crowd, and I'm glad I kind of put some things in the presentation to kind of reintroduce everybody to the program. But because of COVID, we've had some issues trying to restart the program and so forth, and then we had to deal with some situations as far as building materials and that sort of thing not being available, but I'll get through that when I get to my presentation. But I'm glad to see everyone, happy to see everyone, practicing social distancing and safety and that sort of thing, so I'm very happy about that. So if you can go ahead and, okay.
Right here on the,
Okay, does it have like a pointer?
yes, sir.
It's not a great one, though. I'm just going to warn you.
Okay, all right, great, okay. Can everyone still hear me? Pretty good? Okay, go ahead. You can go to the next slide. Yeah, basically I've already given my remarks, and we're going to go into the next slide. And let me give you a few introductions of my staff. First of all, you'll see, I think most of you know me here, but I'm going to introduce me to the rest of the crowd. But you go ahead. All right, I'm Michael Robertson. I'm the Director of Energy Services at Lake Community Action Agency, where we can encompass we have programs, the weatherization program, the LIHEAP program, and we have partnerships with the City of Leesburg and also partnerships with the City of Mount Dora and as well with the City of Eustis.
Yeah, it'll click for you if you do it on the right side, the one on the right.
Okay, got you.
Yes.
Thanks. All right, I want to introduce part of my staff, which is Haiti Diaz. Haiti, we say that? Haiti is responsible for, she does a lot for me. She's responsible for all of the main office communications, the client intake, the client mailouts, all of our client certifications, the contract scheduling, office communication, the program coordination of all of our programs, and also the file management at the office. Okay, let's just talk about a few good rules. If you would love to ask questions, if that's appropriate in this venue, please ask me a few questions about the program because it is pretty detailed, but it will definitely benefit the citizens of Eustis, and we worked with the city of Mount Dora and the city of Leesburg, and it was a tremendously successful program. Now, if you have your cell phones, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and turn them off if you can, or turn them down. I saw that Commissioner Lee tried to take care of that, so we want to make sure everybody else does that as well. All right, you probably can't see this too well, and I was afraid that you probably won't, but pretty much this gives an update, basically, of where the program stands at this time. There's some indications of all the applications submitted, the number of people that have been approved, and also some of those that have been scheduled for inspections, and the houses that have been complete. So to make you to see it a little bit better, the total applications that we've had for this program thus far is 6 applications, and that's it. We've had a total of 4 that have been approved. We have completed 3 inspections. Because of COVID, we had to kind of stop operations. And then right now, we have 1 home under construction, and we have 1 that is completed. So what that amounts to, we've just about spent about $18,805 in expenditures, and we have a balance of about $231,195. What has been allocated for this program is approximately $250,000, which will encompass approximately about 20 homes. So, what do we need at this time, from the city of Eustis? We need to increase a little bit more awareness. We recognize that the program has not been spread totally across the district, where these homes and the citizens that qualify for the program, they typically really don't know about the program as much. Lake Community Action Agency has really tried to promote the program through our website. We've promoted it through also our Facebook page, and we've done some canvassing in the neighborhood to try to get more signups. But it has not been as successful as we would like for it to be. So what are our current needs? We need more promotion. So we're going to need a targeted mailer, if possible, through the city. That could come through water bills. And this is one of the ideas that we kind of thought about, if the city could possibly, within their water bills, put something like an insert or a mailer that will target those citizens that are in that quadrant that represents the CRA district. Also, there's another idea. You could do banner ads on the website. We found that that's been pretty successful on our website because we put some new things that we're involved in on our website through banner ads. And it really helps to get their attention, to kind of pay attention not to all the cluttered stuff that you may have on a website, but pay attention to what's that scrolling banner ad, and they really pay attention to that. Also, idea is social media. Putting it on Facebook and Instagram. I'm not sure if the city of Eustis has a Facebook page, but that is a successful way of getting in touch with, I say, a majority of people today, because, a lot of people are on Facebook. They're out there, posting things about their family, about their business, and I think it's a good way to communicate with those that we need to target. And also, the last thing is canvassing the targeted area. So it was so wonderful to have, discussion with Commissioner Hawkins about his willingness to help to participate in doing some of the canvassing in the neighborhood. And typically, the folks that live in these neighborhoods, their houses are in such bad shape that, at least the ones that we've inspected thus far, and some of them we've had to turn down because the structural issues that we have with a lot of these houses. Some things we can fix, but there are some things we will not be able to fix, and we don't want to make sure that we put the city of Eustis and also Lake Community Action Agency in such, position where they're liable for anything that goes on at the house. So a lot of those houses we don't typically go ahead and try to do any construction. But these are some of the things that we're going to need help with from the city of Eustis to make the program successful. Now, at this time, this is the current flight that we're utilizing for our partnership with the city of Eustis for the CAR project. It pretty much tells the client that, this is available, these are the different items that are included in the program, and we let them know that it's free of cost. There wouldn't be no lien put on your property and that sort of thing. and we tell them where to call and the phone number and so forth. So you may see this flyer somewhere flying around somewhere in a neighborhood near you, but specifically just for the CRA district. Now let's go through a little bit of the program description. We have these terms. You're going to hear me talk about some of these terms, like the WAP, the NECRA, and the ECRA. The WAP program is just our weatherization assistance program. The NECRA is our partnership that we have with the Northeast Community Redevelopment Area, Mount Dora. I'm just going to give you one or two comparisons between the two programs. And then we have ECRA, which represents the Eustis Community Redevelopment Agency. Let's talk about the partnership. The funding that's involved, I did kind of give you an idea of what the funding that was going to be available for this program. The initial contract period was February 2020 through September 2020. However, what happened was COVID hit. And the state ordered our agency to stop all operations going into houses and doing any rehab work and weatherization work. So we were shut down all the way up until November of 2020. We have re-engaged. That house that you saw that was under construction, we do have one currently under construction, but we are finding some issues because the availability of materials for specific items that we need when you're conducting a rehab project. So $250,000 is the initial allocation at this time. So now we're slated to do 20 homes from that $250,000 allocation. So hopefully if you live in the district, hopefully we'll be able to get to your house and make those major improvements in your home. All right, here are some of the qualifications required for the program. That the last meeting that we had here, we decided on these items that will be a part of the program. First of all, you must be a resident of the CRA district. However, staff will verify the address in the CRA district. You must meet Lake County's income guidelines from very low to low income. The home must be owner occupied. The property must be current on all taxes and liens. The property must not have had prior rehab assistance under the city rehab program within the last 5 years. Also, you must attend at least 2 hours of workshop of energy efficiency and homeowners upkeep. That's something that we kind of do with the weatherization program. We kind of educate the client, because what happens is when they're introduced to these new technologies, they don't know how to operate it. They don't know what to do to make it more efficient for their home. So we have to sit them down and instruct them. This is how you operate. This is where you set the thermostat. You're going to have to maintain this. You're going to have to sign a contract with a contractor to make sure he maintains your system on an annual basis. So some of the things like that we try to tell them on the upkeep of their home. But what we found is that there have been a few people that have been over income for the program, but in that area, it is a pretty challenged area because we recognize that a lot of the homes over there have not maintained on a yearly basis what they should do. In addition to that, we have some issues with sign-ups. They just don't qualify, or they don't get all the documents back into us. So some of the other items that are covered, we do roof system repairs, we'll do insulation, we'll do drywall repair replacement, we'll do air conditioning, the HVAC replacement, security lights. We will do plumbing, repiping, gas, electric, water heaters, bathroom fixtures, repair and replacement of any broken or safety or health hazards that we may find in the home. We'll try to make sure that we get those items on the list to be repaired for those clients. Some of the other things that we do in the home is the infiltration test, reduction, weather strip, door sweeps, caulking, pipe penetration, foam sealant. We also do duct repair, central HVAC systems, exterior door replacements. Also, we'll do threshold replacements, ceiling insulation, heating and cooling, and water heater. What we're having a challenge with right now are the replacement doors for the homes. The new home market, they're going pretty good, but as far as the retrofit market is concerned, we're having some issues as far as getting the materials in to try to finish some of the houses that we are in the CRA program. We will do handicap ramps, railings, ramp reconstruction, smoke detectors, and CO detectors, safety tread on floor and bathtub, grab bars, window, doors, screens, and weather stripping. We'll do tree trimming if necessary, if it causes a safety hazard, removal, replacement, only if deemed an immediate safety issue by city inspectors. That's how that works. That is the contingency on that. Things that are not covered by this program are extensive mold, gas leaks and high carbon monoxide levels, extensive flaking of lead paint, foundation issues, septic tank leaks, or need for repairs. One of the things is that I do a majority of the inspections, and we go in and make sure that this house is an eligible house to qualify for the program. If we do find extensive mold that's over 2 square feet in the home, we have to postpone that home until the homeowner is able to rectify that. If we find gas leaks and high carbon monoxide levels in the house, we will contact the gas company, come and rectify that for the client so they don't have to worry about making that phone call. But if there's extensive flaking lead paint, foundation issues or septic tank leaks, that is something that we have to walk away from because we're not going to be able to perform those repairs. That's going to have to be a rebuild situation most of the time. The maximum amount for this program is $10,000 per home, according to the guidelines, and we also have a maximum of $2,000 per home when it comes to your safety and security. What we have found, that once we go through the process with these homes, we can almost certainly guarantee that the home is going to save about $49.65. When we come in and we weatherize the house, we do all the things that's necessary that's on the list. Typically, across the average of the 900 and something homes that we've done, or over the 1,000 some odd homes that we've done for weatherization, we have found that the average savings of these clients have been $49.65. I'm pretty sure everybody in this room could use an extra $49.65. I know I sure could. Now, in order for a contractor to participate in this program, the contractor must be licensed to work and pull permits in Lake County. Now, if he is not able to do that, he cannot participate in this program. And they go through a very intense scrutiny process to become a contractor with Lake Community Action Agency in order to participate in these particular programs. Now, we go by what we call the SWS Standard Work Specifications. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this, just to let you know that we do have a manual. We do follow it by the letter to make sure that these homes are rehabbed according to current Lake County building codes and also for the city of Eustis. We have licensed contractors that do follow the guidelines. Basically, our standard work specifications define the minimum requirements to ensure that the work performed during the energy upgrades in a single-family, multifamily, or manufactured home is effective, durable, and safe in our weatherized homes. Because basically, it is a listing of our minimum set of requirements for those outcomes. And what happens is that it's a resource for the home energy upgrade industry, giving the home energy contractors an energy efficiency program. Administrators the same baseline for residential energy upgrades. So this is not something new. It is something that's being followed by Energy Star. Also, when you get your house rated as a HERS rated home, we do also perform some of those things in the home as well. So this is something standard in the industry. So the bottom line is the SWS ensures that everyone is on the same sheet of music. We're talking about the city of Eustis, the contractors, subcontractors, the auditors, crew leaders, and the inspectors that are all involved in this process. Now, the one thing that's the holdup now in these homes is meeting the ASHRAE standard. The ASHRAE standard is basically a ventilation standard that has been adopted in the home energy code across the state of Florida. So in these homes, we have to install what they call an energy recovery ventilator. What that does, as you can see the diagram, it takes that stale air that's inside the home and it removes it out of the home and exfiltrates it to the outside, while at the same time this device brings in fresh air from the outside, making sure that the home has the proper air changes per hour according to Florida standards. So this is one of the items that we're having issues with because they don't have enough people at the plant to produce these items in a volume so that it can satisfy the nationwide demand. So in the ASHRAE standard, like I was telling you, it's a mechanical and natural ventilation systems and the building envelope intended to provide acceptable indoor air quality. The problem with a lot of Florida homes is that the homes are not ventilated properly. That's why in most Florida homes we find mold. And the reason for that mold is because they don't have the proper ventilation in the home, as well as not having the proper exchange of air. In Florida, the rule is you have to have at least 3 air changes per hour in order to meet the indoor air quality standard. So what that means is that a lot of the units that we find are oversized for the house. A unit that is oversized for your house, it only runs for a short period of time, so we got to come in and we do a complete analysis that takes about 3 hours. We look at everything in the house, we analyze, we do performance tests to make sure that the unit is properly sized based on that house structure. And so, basically when we go in, it takes about 3.5 hours, like I said, we do those performance tests and we can determine how much ventilation is needed for that house if it falls below the threshold. So it's basically to give you a baseline for, the indoor air quality for the state of Florida. And I'll talk about that. So what we have found, the EPA has found that 2 to 5 times that the homes today are more toxic than outdoor air, which means that we don't want to conduct aggressive air sealing without introducing some indoor air quality. So one of the things that's a part of this program is that we do a lot of air sealing as well. But before we do the air sealing, we got to make sure that we test to make sure that the indoor air quality is going to meet the standard for ASHRAE 62. So they did a study in Wisconsin. They found that, that a lot of the homes that were done being tightened, they just didn't meet the standard at all. That was 78% of the homes. In this ASHRAE standard, it talks about spot ventilation, closed dryers must be vented to the outside, all ducts outside, conditioned spaces must be sealed, whole house fans must be verified, a continuous versus intermittent fan specifications and carbon monoxide alarms are required to be installed. So in every house, in the houses that have to be rehabbed under the Eustis program, they have to have these things. The 50 CFM fan in all bathrooms, all kitchens must have a 100 CFM fan, exhaust fan over the stove. These must be verified, they're tested, and we inspect everything. So that's just a breakdown of what it is. Now, I could go into deep detail about how this thing works, but I'm not going to do that because I know we got more presentations that are coming up. But basically, in every house that we have to rehab, we have to install carbon monoxide alarms in each one of those homes. It is a part of the program. It's a part of the standard. So there are just delays on some of these things. So if there are any questions regarding what I've covered, I'll be happy to answer any questions about the program or how we can partner to get this out to the community, because this program is I'm telling you, the City of Mount Dora, they performed this program. It went along well. We were able to get a lot of roof replacements completed that were homes that didn't have insurance or FEMA couldn't come in and help them out. We were able to come in with this program and help these clients out. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to entertain if we have that time.
Madam Vice Mayor, you asked for this, so
Yes.
would you like to ask some
I do
questions?
have questions. When you talked about the partnering to make the community more aware of this program, well, and I heard you say you do Facebook and what was it, the banner ads.
Yes.
So my question would be, it would seem like all of these things should have been done, or couldn't you not do this without having necessarily partnered with us? They would have known more about it in the process if you had done these things. It seemed like it would be easy for you to do. You have Facebook, you have the banner ads that you just stated that comes in, and the social media is pretty available. So you have not done any of these things, and you want now to get together and do it? Is that
Yes,
what I'm
as a matter of
understanding?
fact, I'm sorry, but we have done it. We have already done it already, but we find that it's not enough. to get the awareness of the program to that targeted area. You know, like I said, we've done the canvassing, we went walking, you know, door to door, handing out flyers. We've also did the Facebook page, we did a banner ad on our website. Of course, on our website, we have several programs that a lot of people are specifically looking for, and they may not be able to find that, you know, the partnership that we have with the City of Eustis. We believe that it would help us out tremendously if the City of Eustis could, if they could put it in the water bills or do a targeted mailing. That would help us out tremendously to get the word out even better. I think it's going to look better if it comes not only from us, but from the city as well, from that approach to get the word out even a little bit better, because I'm pretty sure, you know, they trust you guys, trust things that are coming from the City of Eustis, and I just think that goes a long way in trying to help to promote the program.
But I was thinking about, you know how they have the targeted mailing, and for a specific zip code or area, that was another thing that was opportunity that was missed, perhaps, to get that in there. My concern mainly, well, the time that I asked for this presentation, I think there was like maybe 2 homes that had been done, and so now you've upgraded to 4, but I think you said you're having problems with 1?
No, what it is, we have 1 home that's completed. We were able to do that before COVID. The other home that's currently under construction, we started it in way back in January, then COVID hit. Once COVID is kind of, you know, given off, and we given permission by the state, we have now restarted that home. Like in the month of December, we have restarted, end of November, and now we have construction delays with materials and that sort of thing for that particular home. So we got 1 home completed, 1 that's under construction. The 4 that you're talking about are 4 approved applications. That's all we have thus far. We feel that it could be a whole lot more with more awareness. We'll have more people on the waiting list, because right now there's only like 4 qualified applicants on the waiting list. I mean, I think it should be a whole lot more. We've done everything that we could possibly do to try to get the word out, but we just need a little help from the city to get that word out a little bit better.
I'm wondering, you know, it's quite a bit of money. We want to see action, see things really happening.
Right.
And it's been very slow, and I understand what you're saying about the hiccups that you've had. However, I would really like to see, if we're going to do this, that we have more included in the numbers. You know,
Okay.
Otherwise, if it's not going to happen, then why are we doing this? So please work at getting more of these applications completed and showing us numbers so we can be proud of what we've invested into.
Exactly. It's just that some of the things that we have found were a little bit out of our control, and we could not control that. But like I said, when COVID hit, it even shut down our weatherization program that we're in charge of for the Lake County area. And our numbers in the weatherization program, one of our flagship programs at Lake Community Action Agency, we have had to stop everything because the state said you cannot go in homes anymore. You have to stop. So that really shut down everything, even across the entire nation. DOE said, no, you got to stop doing any construction or any inspections and that sort of thing going into homes. Of course, we fall under the purview of the Department of Energy, the Department of Economic Opportunity, so we were ordered to stop. We had to stop. Even though we were getting things started, because if you remember, we just got the program started in February of 2020 last year. That's when it started. COVID hit in March. And then we couldn't do anything else. We were we hated it, but we had to stop because we were ordered by the state.
One more question. Are you saying that ASHRAE has to be done in every house that you do,
Yeah, it has to have that ASHRAE standard installed in all homes right now because of the ventilation standard. We don't want to put the city of Eustis in a situation where you're going to be liable because of my certifications. I have to go into a house and I have to diagnose whether or not the indoor air quality in that house is adequate. If it's not,
how much does it cost?
The ERV cost is about $900 and some odd dollars. It costs about $1,200 to get it installed because there's ductwork involved. There's ductwork that has to go from inside the house to outside the house. They have to install termination vents to the outside, and it has to be done a specific way in order for that particular unit to qualify under that standard. Yeah.
So of the 10,000 you allocate toward each house, 2,000, well, it obviously would have to go to the ASHRAE standards. 'Cause
Yeah.
my guess is the majority of the houses you're looking at don't meet the standard for ASHRAE.
Yeah.
Okay. Which leaves about $8,000
Pretty much.
for other
For
rehabilitation.
other rehabilitation, yeah. You know, the situation, if they have a roof repair, that really takes up a majority of the funding. Luckily, the first house that we had to do, they had to have a roof replacement. The second home that we're involved in now, they didn't have to have a roof replacement. Because what we found is that there's a lot of overgrowth of trees over the rooftops, and that will cause deterioration of those shingles. And we could pretty much say that as if we go under the underlayer, it's got to be replaced. You don't want to associate your name, step into a house, you start some rehab work in the house, and we don't do an adequate job, a full job.
We're good.
Yeah, we want to make sure. We don't want to leave that house half done.
Well, maybe we could get another report as you get more homes, because I'd
Yeah,
like to see
absolutely.
more done in this area.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We can add stuff to our, we've had stuff on our Facebook page. We can kick it up a little bit more, a little more frequently. We'll see what happens with it.
Could we put flyers out at Parks and Recreation, maybe
Sure.
for the kids to take home, and in the library?
Yeah, we'll try everything we can.
Yeah, I would suggest, if I could, you have a community center right in that district. That would be a perfect area to do distribution of flyers and that sort of thing, because you want to be careful. You don't want to distribute those flyers to people that don't qualify for the program. So it has to be very targeted to that area, north of Orange,
Well, it's
east, west of Wall Street, and so
Well,
forth.
it's tough because we have people all over the community going there, but if they're gonna read it and they're gonna see they're not in the district, and then they'll just crumple it up and throw it away.
Is there an admin fee for administering this program?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Nan?
I have quite a few questions. I was before I became a commissioner, I was on the committee that, kind of formed this whole thing. And I actually took 3 hours and rode the CRA. So it's actually quite bigger than just one section of a small community.
Yeah.
I do have some things. One of the things, and I don't know if you all, Tammy, you might be able to answer this. Tammy's president of the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if you all are members of the chamber, but I think you all are you guys considered a not-for-profit?
Yeah, we're a nonprofit.
All right, I think, what is it, $100, Tammy? For $100, you send them the banner in the correct form, and they can help spread the word for you a lot.
Okay. Great idea.
Also, too, the problem with the mailing in the water bill, they got to be owner-occupied. And we
Yeah.
don't know if they're owner-occupied or not. And
Don't know
that's a
that.
lot of,
Okay.
that's a lot of expense for us. I mean, I agree, I like the water bill, notification, it's cheap enough. Easier way, but at the end of the day, we don't know if they're owner-occupied or not. So that's a lot of time on staff to find out who's owner-occupied or who's not.
So you don't.
You see what I'm
guess
saying?
the
The
county
water
has to
bill's
be-
the water bill. Could be a rental, and if it's a rental, it doesn't qualify.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I mean, the water bill's a great
I see
idea,
your
but
point.
there's a
See your
lot of
point.
flaws to
Yeah.
it. Okay?
Yeah.
Also, too, how many houses had been turned down from the ASHRAE?
Well, not for the ASHRAE, but
Well,
for
I mean,
the program, period.
Because of that, I mean, let me back up. Mr. Nybert, did we not say in the initial meeting that we had, or the initial rules, Emily, you might know, didn't the house have to have a certain value to it? Didn't we say that the house had to have like a $45,000 value, or was that part of the CDBG from the county?
That's part of the CDGB.
Yeah.
Okay, you know where I was going with that, so I just want to
Correct.
make
Yeah,
sure. If, we're not going to put,
No, we-
$40,000 into a $45,000 house.
No, we set a cap of $10,000 per house.
Okay, all right. Also, too, from February until September, I know, we all know what happened with COVID. What kind of advertising did you do then? Because
During
if
that
all
time?
work stopped at that point,
Yeah, we advertised it on our Facebook page. We figured that everybody's home now,
Yeah.
sitting at home,
So that
they'll
was
be
it.
able to see that. So that was a targeted thing that we tried to do. We put it on the Facebook page. We ran it for about a month or 2 months to let them know about the program, what we have available. And then we had other things that we had to advertise on our Facebook page as a part
Sure.
of our other programs.
All
But we
right.
did do that.
all right. And if you talked about the rehab doors, because I know they're not standard on some of those homes. I don't know if you've ever done anything. We have a business right here in Eustis, Lake Door and Trim, and they've done quite a bit of work for me on some older properties that I have that are not the normal size, but Lake Door and Trim. So they're a
Lake Door and Trim.
Lake Door and Trim, and they're a great company to work for, or work with.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful.
And I'd like to see a monthly report. And I know COVID hit, but we have gone a long time.
Do you want an in-person monthly report or just a written monthly report?
I'd say quarterly.
Maybe if it was written monthly, but definitely in-person
Yeah,
quarterly.
I'd like to see quarterly, because truthfully, I'm to the point where if this program's not moving by June, I think we just scratch it and wait till COVID has deceased, so it's gone away a little bit, and bring the program back differently. There's a big chunk of money sitting there that we can put into other projects that we have.
I agree.
If we can't get into the homes and the people aren't coming forward, let's advertise until June and then see where we're at, because it's not working.
We're stagnant. And I get COVID. I mean, I completely
And
understand.
Michael, it's not you. I'm not blaming you.
But we've got to move
I know.
forward.
You know.
Yeah, because what we found too is that a lot of the house, we'll call them, and they say, no, my son has COVID, and I just got tested, and we're waiting for the results, and so we can't go into that house. Because of our new COVID-19 safety standards that we have to, take upon right now because of the position of the agency, we have to do those COVID-19 safety protocols.
If you want to take a review in 3 months, at a quarterly report in 3 months, and evaluate at that point, we can do that. If COVID is still causing people not to have to, and as the mayor indicated, if we want to suspend the program at that point until things clear up on COVID, and then we reevaluate and try again, we could try that.
That's the reason why I suggested monthly, because things have opened up for you, correct?
They're starting to, yes.
Oh, is it a full open?
Not full, but they're starting to, things are starting to come
So
back
what has
online
opened up?
slowly.
What has opened up?
As far as construction is concerned?
That you're allowed to do? Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can now go out and do inspections.
Okay.
In the homes. We can do that now. And we have to have contractors that have been OSHA certified and COVID-19 certified to be able to go back into the homes. Because they have to follow the safety guidelines when they go into the house.
Okay.
Those are the things. We had to make sure all of our contractors get up to par with that. And any other new contractor that wants to get on our list, they got to go through all these safety protocols and get certified for that. So, yeah.
Okay.
My thinking was quarterly is, we just opened we had one testing or one vaccination site opened in the city today. We have another one tomorrow. So we're starting to get some vaccinations out into our community. I think if we can start our advertising, let's monitor how the vaccine is working, see if our numbers are coming down, and then we can look. If we look at in 3 months, we should know a little bit better number-wise what we're looking at.
And I agree. I just think for me, along with Commissioner Lee, even if you just sent a monthly emailed report, just to say, hey, we have added 2 more to the program, we've inspected.
Oh, yeah,
I just got to
You know
know.
the initial sheet you had with the X's and the addresses? Send us that.
Okay, I'll do that.
Had questions.
Yeah. When they
Because that pretty much gives you a scope of the entire program.
I, as a newly appointed board member, I went out yesterday and I met with Mike and everyone there at the place. And
Lake Community Action.
yeah, Lake Community Action. And one of the things that concerned me was the city doing their part. And I understand what Mike said about, COVID hitting and everything. It's the city's money that's out there. Are we doing everything that we can? See, that's the thing that concerns me. Are we doing everything that we can to make sure this program works? I like the mailer, but once Nan said what she said, it makes sense. And I don't know if there's a way around that.
I mean, we could take the view, the putting it in the water bill would be the cheapest. Obviously, the issue is if it's a renter, they're going to read it and say, I rent, I don't qualify, crumple it up and throw it away.
Exactly.
So.
But how much does that,
Basically, it doesn't cost us
Yeah.
anything to insert it. All it is the cost of printing and the paper. So, and obviously, we have different billing zones in the city that would cover the CRA area. So we could target those zones that cover the CRA. Obviously, we could put it in all the bills, and if they don't qualify, they don't qualify. They crumple it up, throw it away. But if there's somebody interested, we can do it. We can pick up the Facebook presence a little more than we have. Michael can do his more. He can share it to the word of mouth pages that are out there. We'll do the same. We can just pick up the pace a little bit more here in the next month or so.
okay. Well, fortunately or unfortunately for Mike, when I met with him, I told him that I'm willing to go out with him. So anytime they want to go out and canvass,
Yep.
I'll go with them. But I don't want to set them up for failure.
No, agreed.
So when we started this program, we thought it was a good
Yeah.
program. So let's do what we can to make sure this thing works.
Yeah, unfortunately, the world got skittish.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
COVID just, it
Exactly.
ruined everything. It really ruined
So,
everything. Yeah.
so I'd like to see Facebook. Yeah, I'd like to see the mailer, and I'm willing to go out and canvass. So,
Awesome. We have you signed up.
Two meetings a month, right, Will?
yeah, 2 meetings exactly. So,
Karen, did you have anything?
No, this has been a really interesting journey with this program because things shut down. And I kind of think canvassing is going to be our best bet to get people's attention because I believe many of those residents are elderly and they're not going to be on Facebook. And honestly, do I read my water bill? No. So I think knocking on the door, maybe getting hangers for the doors in that area might be a...
But you said you had already done the door-to-door hangers, or flyers, right?
Yeah, we went door to door.
Okay.
We kind of canvassed back in January of
Okay.
last year.
Of 20, or?
Of 20.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
we
how
went
mu-
and canvassed the neighborhood, right before COVID hit, when the program started in February 2020. So
but how much of the neighborhood, Mike?
we went all the way from Hazard, all the way to Wall Street, and to, I think it's Gulchford, or what, I can't think of the name of the street. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went,
Okay.
we canvassed all those areas, dropping, and she helped me. She helped me to cover the entire, we walking up on people as they're sitting on the porch and let them know about the program. Hey, this is free of charge. And one of the things I can tell you that, some of the residents will be a little skittish about trying to participate in this program because they feel that you're coming to take away their home. That's always
and
the thing.
Divulging their information
Yeah,
that's required
Yeah,
is
it's
something
once
that
you
people
start
don't
getting
like to do.
into,
Some
the
folks
property
don't
appraisal
want you-
reports and so forth, they start to like,
Yeah, some people don't want you in their business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you give an invitation to come to Lake Community Action as opposed to doing the paperwork there on the front porch?
oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But what we prefer for them to either mail it in or they can bring it by our drop box. We make it pretty simple on the application. It really doesn't require that much information, but we have to have property information to make sure that they have a clear title, to the property and that they don't owe on the tax and that sort of thing. We have to verify all that to make sure. So, a lot of times they start asking them about, do you have a title to your home? Why do you want to know about my title? Why do you want to know about whether or not it's free and clear? That sort of thing. They start to get a little skittish about that sometimes.
So would I.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way of the world with some folks right now. But she does a very good job. She makes them feel comfortable. She talks to them and let them know, look, we're not going to put a lien on your property. We're not going to come take your property. And she does a very good job of that.
Well,
I can answer her question or if she wants to.
Rachel, you'll have to come to the microphone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
well, I think that seeing a familiar face, me, might help. So I'm willing to go out and do everything that we can do.
It's not a question, it's just a suggestion of getting local pastors on board so that they could put the word out at church. But people would trust their local pastors and maybe be able to get more information out that way.
What about like at the
Just a
Lake
thought.
Piers distribution?
Well, I was just sitting here thinking, what about at Carver Park having a community meeting?
Yep, we can do that.
Lake Cares would be happy to hand stuff out, I'm sure, but you'd have to have, we'd be handing it out to everybody because we don't ask people where they're from when they come in.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, I think Pastor idea is good. There's a church right in the district right there.
There's several.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Michael, thank you for spending time with us tonight.
Thank you very
I
much for
appreciate
having
it.
me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Next, we have a presentation by Spencer Follmar. Spencer, come on up, talk to us about the drive-in theater project.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. So the drive-in theater project is underway. Last time I was here 3 months ago, the update was the environmental report. We worked with the local business, got the environmental report done, and the land, thankfully, is in good shape. There's no environmental issues. It is virgin land. To be quite honest, this has been delayed with the pandemic, the shutdown, and most of my partners on this project were coming from the entertainment sector, where I previously lived in Los Angeles. I'm now a Florida resident, which I'm very thankful for that. And I'm working with some local developers and investors to work on this project. They've done many projects that are quite a bit larger than this. You know, we're speculating that the cost is going to be above $9 million to complete this development project, building the world's largest drive-in theater. And we toured the land last Tuesday, I believe it was, and we met with Tom, coincidentally, and we met with some of the local business owners, and they're very excited about the project. They are here locally. I'm not able to let you know who they are at this time. We're signing contracts for them to come on board and produce the financing to purchase the land, and then to do the survey and to break ground and finish the permitting and the site plan approval. So it's very promising. We're looking at partnering with some national brands as well. It's thankfully, I believe all things work out the way they're meant to. And the people I'm working with now are people I know personally for a long time and trust, and they are able to make this project better than I ever would have been able to do by myself. So it's in a really promising place. I wish I had more concrete names and numbers or surveys, but I've spent all my personal money on this project, and right now we just need the financing, and that should be here. Hopefully I have a great new update in the next 3 months whenever I come back in May. But if there's any questions I can answer, we're very hopeful, and I look forward to providing some more concrete details very soon.
Any questions of Spencer at this time? Spencer?
No,
Go
so
ahead,
the
Karen.
property is okay to use? I mean, wow.
Yeah, so far everything's very promising. We haven't had a professional survey done, but Selby Weeks, who was here about 6 months ago to update the commissioners, he has looked at a lot of the aerial shots and the floodplains, and it looks very good. We do have to get a proper survey done to confirm this and know what the mitigation costs will be. But we walked the land, and these developers have been developing much larger projects in this in the state of Florida for 30 years, and they feel very, very pleased about this. And then we also walked downtown Eustis and had lunch at Tilly's, and they really fell in love with the downtown. All of them had never been here before, but they're really excited about Eustis.
Weren't we supposed to do some kind of like do different things to the soil, different reports on that?
Geotechnical studies?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the first one that we did was the environmental report. Right now, the next one would be like the topo levels of the, what did you call them, Ron?
Geotechnical?
That. And the survey. Some of these are quite costly. We've gotten prices, for the survey with Selby's company for this amount of land is about $25,000. And I personally don't have that capital right now to spend. But our developers have a lot of this in-house because they do such large projects. And we should be, providing that or being able to execute that here soon. We're hopefully signing contracts within the next week or two. But they're completely on board. We just got to ink it.
So what's the timeline? What do you think, how long do you think all of this is going to take?
Yeah, my contract with the city expires in August of this year, so that is my, obviously I'd like to get something done before that, and we'd like to execute the contract before that. For the scope of this project, the 5-screen drive-in and what we hope to do with the land, we're looking at a build-out of about 12 months right now, and that's on a very optimistic view. It's quite a large project. It could be more like 18 months, but we're really excited to get going. And there's more interest now, ironically, in drive-ins than ever before since, the 60s, with COVID precautions and people being able to social distance and get outside and enjoy a time of entertainment.
So when do you think we'll be able to do it groundbreaking?
Groundbreaking? Boy, I can't wait. I hope this summer, honestly. We want to execute this contract before, August, before our deadline is, and we all wish it was built right now, and it would have already broken ground had, my investors not taken such a big hit. But we hope this summer we'll be able to break ground.
Dan, anything? Willie, anything? Spencer, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, everyone. Great to see you. Take care.
Thank you.
So we're going to report in 3 months?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
May. All right, coming down now to appointments. We've got some appointments to committees. First one, we have appointment to the Firefighters Pension Board of Trustees, Rachel Holtzclaw. Rachel, will you come forward just so that everybody can see you? And if the commission has any questions, they can ask you any questions.
I want to know who twisted her arm.
I know, that's what I wanted to know.
City manager did.
Any questions of Rachel?
Last I heard, it was no way, no how.
Yeah, well,
So,
We're so glad you've
Thank you.
decided. That's just tremendous, and we're glad to have you on board.
Thanks. I
Looking
appreciate
for
that.
a motion to appoint Rachel Holtzclaw to the Firefighters Pension Board of Trustees.
so moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sorry, but who was second?
I did.
Okay. Commissioner Hawkins?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner LaHoop Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Cobb?
Aye.
Mayor Holland?
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Rachel.
You're welcome.
Next one, we have Code Enforcement Board, Ryan Benaglio. I'm sorry, Brian, I always have trouble with your last name. Come on forward.
That's why I did kindergarten twice.
Any questions of Ryan?
She said, hold on just 1 second.
Okay. Oh, Ryan's mom's coming in. That's good. Gotta have mom here.
Yeah.
Any questions of Ryan at this point?
No.
All right, looking for a motion to appoint Ryan to our Code
So
Enforcement Board.
moved.
So moved.
A
Yes.
second.
First and a second, any discussion? Not hearing any, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hawkins?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner LaHoop Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Cobb?
Aye.
Mayor Holland?
Aye. Ryan, thank you for willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
guys.
Thank you. And next, we have Code Enforcement Board also, Bradley Shelley. Welcome. Any questions of Bradley? Bradley, how long have you lived here in Eustis?
6 years now.
6 years. All right, welcome. Thanks for your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Looking for a motion to appoint Bradley Shelley to the Eustis Code Enforcement Board.
So moved.
Thank you, ma'am.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Not hearing any, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hawkins?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner LaHoop Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Cobb?
Aye.
Mayor Holland?
All right, thank you. Thank you for your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Next, we have appointment to the Historic Preservation Board, Kirk Musselman. Kirk, thanks for your willingness to serve. Anybody got any questions of Kirk? Come on, Commissioner. Go ahead.
It's the
No
beady
question.
eyes.
Any questions? Not hearing any and looking for a motion to appoint Kirk Musselman to the Preservation Board.
So moved.
So moved.
I didn't think you were going to do it.
I'll give that to Willie and we'll second with Nan. Any further discussion? I know.
Time.
Not any further discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hawkins?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner LaHoop Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Cobb?
Aye.
Mayor Holland?
Aye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
All right, now we're coming down to audience to be heard. I'm going to start off with Aaron, if we could, tonight.
I have no cards, so.
Oh, you don't have any cards? I'm going to get Aaron to come up and do a report on George Fest since it's next week.
Thank you.
You're
Good evening. Erin Bailey, the Events and Tourism Manager for the City of Eustis, and about to be in the middle of the throes of George Fest 2021. So we've got a really exciting weekend coming up next weekend. As you all have heard, I'm sure, we announced our headliner. So we're very, very excited to have Michael Ray come home and give a fantastic concert on the bandshell stage. We're expecting wonderful crowds, and just should be a really nice weekend. So I started with the last thing, but we've got in store for us fireworks on Friday night at 9 o'clock, an awesome blues band on stage in Bandshell. We have 2 bands in the middle of downtown that will be on stage. Saturday starts off with the parade, of course, and Dog Jog. And then we move forward to Cupcakes with George and the Miss Eustis Girls, of course. And some fantastic music on stage in downtown and on the Bandshell stage. The MD Jazz Band will be there. And then we've got a nice tribute band that evening, the Tribute Trifecta. So music of, of 38 Special, of the Doobie Brothers, and Santana. So that will be, I know, it's going to be fun. And then, of course, on Sunday morning, we've got our bass tournament, our second year of our bass tournament, and ice cream social, pancake breakfast, worship service, and Michael Ray. So we're very excited to have such a lineup. But I know that there are things that I left off, like a ice cream sundae making contest. We have a banana split eating contest, a cherry pie eating contest. We have so much going on. So,
Aaron, thank you. Thanks for all that you do and your staff. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Excited to see you all out there.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to address the commission on something that's not on the agenda? Ms. Tam, anything from the chamber tonight? No? All right. I'm sure you are. Commissioners, before us, we have a consent agenda of 1 item. Is there any further discussion on that consent agenda? Not hearing any, looking for a motion to approve our consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the resolution number 21-10 on our consent agenda.
Thank you.
I second it.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further discussion? Not hearing any, roll call.
Commissioner Hawkins.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lee.
Aye.
Commissioner LaHoop Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Cobb.
Aye.
Mayor Holland.
Aye. Mr. Attorney.
Yes, sir. The first item is Resolution 2105, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Eustis, Florida, electing to use the uniform method of collecting non-ad valorem special assessments levied in the incorporated area of the city, stating a need for such levy, providing for the mailing of this resolution, and an effective date. Mr. Shepard.
Mayor, members of the commission, Mike Shepard, Finance Director. This is a resolution for the use of a uniform method of collection, and essentially what that means is, along with 10 other agencies within the county, we would do this on the property taxes. So it'd just be another line item separate from the property taxes that they would collect and they would remit back to us. Currently we have permission from the property appraiser and the tax collector to utilize their services. We still have to, after this meeting, we'll have the mayor sign an agreement that'll allow the property or tax collector to service us and collect the monies and remit to us. Like I said, there's 10 other agencies within the county. 2 of them are under what our proposed amount would be, which is $100. One's at $100, the rest are all above $100. The intent, like I said, is for the $100 per residential unit. Commercial units would be based on square footage and various rates, depending on if it's commercial, industrial, and so on. We've hired a company, government services, GSG, And they are experts in providing information and calculating what the fair assessment would be. The assessment can only be used for benefit to the real property that's in the city, and it can only be used for the fire protection. The portion that we have in our services for EMS would not be included. The monies that would be collected would probably exceed $1 million, and anything over and above that, we would reduce the millage rate dollar for dollar. We do have needs within the fire department to add various members to their staff to better serve the community. That's probably close to $500,000, just shy of it, I'd imagine. The rest of it, there's other organizational needs that are going to be needed in the city, and so that amount would go to shore up those items within the budget. Like I said, we had to advertise for 4 consecutive weeks. We have confirmation from the Daily Commercial that has been done. And it was the same day we started back in January. And if you need a copy of, they sent us the verification of that. GSG has 2 different phases that they would go through. One is the collection phase, and then they would provide an assessment report. Probably in May, June, we'd get that done. Then their total cost for phase 1 and 2 is about $31,000. There would be some additional costs because we would have to end up doing a mailer to every unit within the city, to the owners of those units. That, I'm guessing, is going to be another $9,500 or so. But those would happen towards the end. GSG would provide us with an ordinance that we would have to enact, and we'd adopt the assessment resolution, and then do a public notice again, and then hopefully certify everything, and we would get that certified to the tax collector by the mid-September. So it's a busy season coming up, but I think it'll help the city provide a better service for fire protection, and also add to our serviceability in other areas of the city.
Particularly in public safety.
Yes.
So, and just to reaffirm, the vote you're taking tonight is not to implement the assessment. It's only to authorize the beginning of the assessment process and to which method that you're going to use to do the analysis.
And any time during the whole process, you can decide, nope, we're not going to do it, and we would stop there. We would only be billed for the services that were rendered, and we would move on from there.
Anybody have any questions of Mike?
Was going through the property appraiser's office, because that would be a lump sum fee would be due with your property taxes, correct?
Right.
I know what City of Tavares puts it
Tavares
on the
is the
utility
only one
bill.
that uses on utility bills.
Is that more costly?
It's not more costly. We would get the money, 1/12 from each unit over the course of the year. Each month they would see and notice, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
This other way, they may or may not notice the amount on there, so.
I would notice.
You would.
The issue with that is if somebody doesn't pay their bill, we don't get the
That's
money.
true.
If,
Yeah.
under the method of doing it on the property tax bill, if the individual doesn't pay their taxes on their bill, those get sold, and we get the money through the tax set.
Back in June, July.
In June and July. So we're guaranteed on getting our money in a timely manner. If an individual doesn't pay their bill and they're in arrears for 6 months, then we've lost that money, and then obviously we have to go through our lien process, so it's a little more costly to recoup those monies if an individual doesn't pay their bill.
I'll make a comment also, since I have properties in Tavares. When I get, or when you see the utility bill, and if I don't have a tenant in there, I have to pay the.
Yes.
And it's much easier to pay it in your taxes than to see it every month on your bill. And it's just like it's done once you've done your taxes, rather than every month you have to look at it. So
Yeah,
I
that's-
like that better.
That's a nice, convenient way of getting it. Because I don't, when I get my tax bill, I look at it and I can see the fire assessment fee because I'm in the county. And, you know, and I also pay my garbage collection on the same method. So, and it does, like Ron said, we don't have to go through the hassles of doing a lien, and then maybe 3, 4, 5 years you get the money back, depending on when they sold the property.
Have you had any feedback from the community?
It's very early.
There
will be.
I believe we'll start getting some after this evening.
Yeah. I was involved in another city doing this initially, and it created more and more, and the finance department will start getting calls. I imagine city manager will get calls. Y'all will get calls, just so you're aware of that.
As we discussed, we look at several options of improving public safety, both on the fire and on the police side. This gives us the opportunity to do those things.
And be competitive with other cities.
Any other questions from the commission? Would any members of the public like to speak on this resolution? Seeing none, we will close the public comment portion of the hearing. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioners, before us, we have resolution number 21-05. What's the will of our commission?
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of resolution number 21-05, because if we don't do that, we can't talk about it.
Yes, ma'am.
We need a second.
All right,
I second.
Willie will second it. Anybody would like to discuss this? Karen?
Well, y'all know my thoughts. I mean, I'm part of our talking about our millage rate was that we could say we don't have these extra fees that other municipalities put on. Now, I do understand public safety is very important. I understand, I really do. And it's my understanding that by doing this, this money is targeted at our fire department. And then money is released that can be can be used to the police department. Am I correct?
That's correct. Allocations from the general fund that are currently going to the fire department would be redirected from the fire department to the police department.
So we would be able to do more for our public safety sector. It's just not my favorite. Am I it?
I hear you and I understand, but I think that the most important thing that we have to do is to address public safety. If we're looking to, bring in new businesses, new citizens, new residences, we have to do that. I had someone talk to me the other day, and one of the reasons that they were concerned about having an event downtown was because of the shooting and because of, the people that are milling around, the homeless. And we have to address that. If we don't, we won't grow. And we won't grow the way we need to grow. So I just think it's important that we address public safety. That way when people come to our town, whether they visit or they live, they feel comfortable. And they know that if there's a problem here, whether it be fire or whether it be a robbery or whatever, there's someone there to take care of. understand how you feel, but, and this is just coming from someone that's been in law enforcement for over 26 years, so I just think it's important that we do it.
It's kind of a hard time to present it, I think, as far as all the things that are going on with people and even things, cost of everything, gas, everything's going up, and then we add this to it. But on the other hand, when I look at what the other cities are charging, I think we've kept it to a minimum, and I think that's a good thing. The cost is not as great as some of the others, they're in the 200s and everything, so, it's a fine balance, but it's very much needed. But at the same time, I'm thinking about that too.
Ann?
When Karen brought up that, we've been able to, we had the functional millage rate that Mr. Nybert shared with us. And so we've been able to say that. If we do this, and I know it's tough because we run a very thin budget, if we do this, is there any way we're going to be able to reduce this millage rate?
Yes, if based on the projections we have right now, we believe that we will collect over the $1 million that we need to cover both of the departments financially. And as we've said, part of your commitment in our proposal was that any revenues generated over that $1 million would go toward a millage rate reduction on a dollar-for-dollar basis.
I don't like this either, at all. But one of the things we swear to is public safety.
Absolutely.
And we are deficient. We sat here and we listened to 2 Thursday nights ago a development plan for our downtown corridor. The buildings that are talked about being built there are going to need a tower truck. That's a $1.5 million vehicle. You look at expansion of our city outside of our lines that we're in now, we've got to be able to function as a fire department and as a police department outside of those lines as well. We know we already have a problem with pay in those areas. I will vote tonight to allow this to go forward. But one of the things, Karen, don't you throw anything at me. One of the things I want to do, and I haven't even talked to Mr. Nybert or to Mike about this, as we go through our budget process this year, remember how we used to do budgets where we sit down and we have a meeting and we listen to all the departments? I would like to go back to, Mike, you were here when we did that. I would like to go back to that where we have 2 or 3 days where we listen to department heads a little bit, especially with such new people on the commission. I think you will understand city budget better, and I think you will understand the different pots that you can take money out of, because I don't think the general public really understands. We're tied as a commission to where money can be taken from and where it can be used. So I would like to suggest that if we could work on something like that, I think it'll help us understand better. But tonight, I will vote to forward this on, because we are not saying we're doing this definitely, but I think it's something, I don't know how we get around yet not doing something. Public safety is the biggest thing we swear to when we take our oath of office, especially as a city commission. So,
and it's our most expensive part of our budget.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's all I've got to say. Anybody else, any other comments?
I will just say, at the end of the day, without public safety, anything we do, it doesn't matter.
Well,
we have to have a safe community.
Truthfully, well, it is the biggest economic development tool
Absolutely.
that we control as a city commission. If we do not control crime and we don't provide good fire service or medical service, people aren't going to invest in our city.
Absolutely not.
So we're kind of caught here, and we're caught, I look back at the years where Karen and I first served together back in 2008, 2009. We were caught where we couldn't spend money. We were very lucky that we still have departments that are functioning. And what scares me is looking at the economy today. I think we're headed back to that. So we're going to have to make some hard decisions. That's why I think it's better if we look at budgeting the way we're trying to look at it this year and some different things. But that's where we are. And like I said, I will vote tonight to allow this to take its next step, and still wrestling it within my mind whether I can vote for it at the end of the day. But that's where we are tonight. Any other discussion? We have a first and a second. Mary, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hawkins?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner LaHoop Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Cobb?
Aye.
Mayor Holland?
Aye. Thank you all.
Next item is Resolution 2109, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Eustis, Florida, amending a corridor improvement matching grant program, now known as the Gateway Corridor Improvement Matching Grant Program. Tom?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I've got a brief presentation for you tonight. It is maybe.
For some reason, my computer decided to restart, so.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, mine tried to do the same thing. I'm not sure what's going on.
So I will ad-lib a little bit. You were all in attendance at our Gateway Grant Workshop over at the Chamber of Commerce. My presentation tonight was very similar to that with some changes. Basically, the program was created back in 2014. Resolution 1422 created the program. In 2015, we amended the boundaries just a touch. Previously, it only went north on State Road 19 to Pendleton. Now we go up to County Road 452, and thank you, Commissioner Cobb, to the gate station.
It's the gate station.
Exxon.
It's always going to be the gate station.
The gate station. So we've amended the program once. Back in 2018, the Commission gave us direction to increase the grant amount of the program and also to add funding from the CRA. And so one thing that this Resolution 2109 does is, while we got direction from Commission in 2018, it was not approved by resolution. So we are officially approving the grant amount change on both from $3,000 to $6,000, and we're also increasing the cap on landscaping from $450 to $900. So that's one item in Resolution 2109. And then the other item in the resolution is expanding the geography. We've gotten a lot of inquiries from downtown, and right now downtown is not included in the program if you're not on Bay and Grove. And so what this resolution does is it increases the geography to include the entertainment district. The theory being we have our automotive corridors, Bay, Grove, and Orange Avenue, but downtown are pedestrian corridors. And so those are also important corridors in downtown. And so by adding the entertainment district, you're mainly adding Magnolia east-west and then Eustis Street north-south. And then we're also adding US Highway 441. I think the thought is that there might be, of course, 441 is a major corridor into the city, and there may be some opportunity to help some folks on 441. And so that's really the key changes that we're proposing. And staff recommends approval of Resolution 2109, and I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you may have.
I would just like to see it when we go down Orange Avenue. I know it stops at Abrams. Can we have it to include Tony's Pizza, even though they are in the city and they can see it? But I'd like to put that inclusive at maybe ending right there.
Should we just do Orange Avenue east to the terminus of
To
the
the
city,
bypass.
of the corporate limits?
Okay. Yeah, because she ends.
And then if the corporate limits change, then
Okay.
it's self-correcting.
Perfect.
And the way I've handled gateway grants administratively is if you are visible from the corridor, if you're visible from that line, we've tried to be as inclusive as possible. So.
Would any members of the public like to speak on Resolution 2109? Seeing none, we will close the public comment portion of the hearing.
Commissioners, before us, we have resolution number 21-09, which is the will of our commission.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of resolution number 21-09.
I'll second it.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. Roll call, please.
Yay.
Commissioner Hawkins?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner LaHoop Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Cobb,
Aye.
Mayor Holland.
Aye.
The next 9 ordinances, ordinance 2032 through 2040, which we've been calling the Thrill Hill ordinances. Staff recommends that those be continued to a future meeting and a date certain. Our next meeting is March 4th, and the meeting after that is March 18th.
I do have one card from an individual that indicated they wanted to speak on the postponements, and that would be Dee Gretzler.
I think she's out in the hall.
Okay.
While we're looking for Ms. Gretzler, would anyone else like to speak on this matter? Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, for hearing me out. I came prepared this time. I realize that this is getting postponed, and it keeps getting postponed, and I feel like nothing's happening during the postponements. So I'd love to know, and I don't know if you answer questions during a 3-minute or if I just put them out there and maybe they get answered another time, but I would like to know if there has been a decision on the density issue for these areas. Are you considering the 5 houses per acre, or would you be considering 1 house per 2 acres? And if you were to consider something like a low-density housing, I think you'd probably get a whole lot more support from the area, from the people who live in the area. Has anyone done an impact study on the cost of bringing sewer and other utilities to those parcels? Who's paying for that? Does that come out of impact fees that are supposed to be paid by a developer, or does the city pay for that and it comes out of our taxes?
Ma'am, we're only discussing the postponement of the
Oh,
details
sorry.
of the project.
So about the postponement, well, these are things to consider during the postponement, since nothing seems to happen and it keeps getting postponed with no visible movement. So I'd love to know if maybe you'd reconsider and think about making us be something more, less like Claremont and more like a rural community that is maybe a bedroom community, but for Orlando, but maybe a little more unique. What if we were somebody more special? What if we were something, I'm not a big Claremont fan, so sorry, but what if we were something that you wanted to come here and we had something unique to offer instead of just another developed city? So I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't see anything happening, and I'd love to know why. I'd like to understand why the postponing goes from week to week, and maybe we take a longer break, maybe wait 3 meetings, and meanwhile talk to the community members, talk to the area residents. So thank you.
I mean, we're currently working, negotiating with the county an agreement to address density and other issues raised as part of the consideration. So as we move forward with that, obviously we'll see how we do when we make progress on the negotiations.
Thank you.
Got sent.
Ma'am?
It got sent to the county?
No, I'm sending it out tomorrow. I
Okay.
wanted to make a couple tweaks to it.
Okay.
Any other questions from the commission? Any other members of the public? All right, we will close the public comment portion of the hearing.
All right. Staff has recommended, and the attorney has recommended us postponing ordinance 20-32 all the way through ordinance 20-44. What is the will of this commission?
This is 20-40.
20-40, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I move to continue to our March 4th meeting because of the county's actions preventing us from having a hearing and finalizing approval, and that's for ordinances number 20-32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40.
And if I may, the date that it will be heard is the next meeting, March 4th, or the meeting thereafter, March 18th?
March 4th, I think.
March 4th is what I said. Do I need to add March 18th?
Oh, did you say March 4th?
She said March 4th.
Okay, I apologize. No, you're good.
March 4th is fine. For a second.
I second.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Not hearing any, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hawkins,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner LaHoop Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Cobb,
Aye.
Mayor Holland.
Aye. Dirk, on the next one, I would like to see us do the same thing, sir.
Yes, sir. Understood. Would any members of the public like to speak on the proposed continuance of ordinances 2041, 2042, and 2043? Seeing none, we will close the public comment portion of the hearing.
Commissioners, looking for a motion for a postponement from ordinance number 20-41 through -2043. What's the will of our commission?
So moved. I'll second.
Have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hawkins?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Luke Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Todd?
Aye.
Mayor Holland?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. All right, future agenda items. Ms. Karen, anything?
Nothing.
Nothing. Madam Vice Mayor?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Wow. Commissioner Hawkins?
No.
No?
Read my writings, we just-
Commissioner Todd?
Well, of course I do.
All right.
I've just got a couple things, and I don't really, some of them I don't, the first one really isn't a future agenda item. It's just something that I kind of wanted to ask, if you would. May we please have a sign, can we fix the chamber sign to where actually the chamber, you know where to go to the chamber?
Rick's working on it. I've been after him several times on that. I will get after him a little more vigorously tomorrow.
Thank you. And the other one is, we need to post something at the chamber where the gators are. I know Tammy had called the police, and then there was a gentleman that was antagonizing the gator, throwing crackers and things at its head. It wasn't Cheetos. I think it might have been Cheetos, but anyway. Anyway.
It is that time of year.
It is. But we need to have something posted, even though I guess Derek, is there a statute with that? It says something about molestation of the gators.
Yes,
and
we could do that.
antagonizing them and just letting people aware. I mean, we've got to post something only because of liability. I just don't want to see the city in any kind of a problem.
Charlie's getting bigger and bigger.
That's correct. It's getting a little bigger.
Actually, we think it's Charlene because there's babies.
Has anybody seen babies?
No?
There's no babies.
Oh,
No
just a
babies.
Facebook rumor?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Facebook.
It's Facebook.
That's right. So thank you very much. I just wondered, and I didn't see it. I had talked to you, Mr. Nybert, about wanding people at the front door. Were we able to purchase those?
Chief, have we purchased the hand wands, metal detectors yet?
There was a wand passed down. I didn't know what the purpose of it was. Okay.
Here we go. We have a wand.
Thank you. I just think for everybody's safety, sometimes we have some colorful people come in and they get a little passionate about some of the things they do, and I just feel a little more comfortable. Oh, stop. Only our mayor. Anyway, I just want to make sure for everybody's safety that I'd like to see that as they come in the front door. I know that the last time we were here, Dallas did a 4-H presentation, and you had directed staff to start to work on that. Do you know where we are with that at all?
I didn't hear your
The 4-H, I know the mayor had directed staff to work on that.
I will get with an update from Craig, and
I just wasn't sure where we were with that.
Yeah, I know Craig's been working with him. I'll get with him tomorrow and get you an update.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd also like to see us bring up and talk about the fence guidelines again. Okay, I'd like to see us work on maybe something for residential and something else for commercial. Okay, so if we could have some type of a presentation or input, or I don't know if that's something you need to hear from me, but I'd like to see us do something. Okay?
That it?
Oh, of course not. When Mr. Nybert and I were driving around the city looking at some different properties and things with the city of Eustis, we had noticed a piece of property that we own over off of where they're going to build the new lake house. And, they had said they had cleaned it up. And you had stated that we had quite a few properties that were maybe non-conforming or some things that we own. I'd like to see a list of the properties that we own.
Okay.
And if they're non-conforming, or if there's something that we can either sell to the adjacent property owner, or something that, we could, if it was big enough, and sell just to get it back on the tax roll. Okay, and get them some less that we have to take care of, and also too,
Yeah,
maybe-
we did that a couple years ago
Mhm.
with our MOTA-OWN program.
I knew that.
We reviewed all of our properties and
Mhm.
those, and we went to all the departments, particularly Public Works.
Sure.
In terms of easements, but we can re-review those properties and see if there's a overriding need for us to keep them, or if we could
Yeah, because I haven't, I mean, I
dispose of them.
obviously wasn't here, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I have spoken to Mr. Nybert about, when we started the Gateway Grant program, it's turned out good, but we also noticed some other things, and so one of them was the clothing bins, Derek, the clothing bins. And so Derek sent me some information that we needed to look at, but I'd like to see that as a future agenda item on how we deal with those, because I have to tell you, I've driven around this city, and I'm going to guess there are 25 to 30 of those all around our city. And I know,
Including bins?
I call them dumpsters.
The donation bins.
The donation dumpsters, they're everywhere.
And he's making a lot of money on that.
And so I would like to see us, I know that legally we have to have them, you know, but I'd like to see us work on where we could put them and the limit. And I know that I got you gave me the, I guess the resolution.
Ordinance.
The ordinance that the county passed, then that's the same as Tavares. And so I got a copy that I like that. Maybe we could just tweak it a little bit to suit our needs.
Is your preference to have a draft ordinance at the next meeting or discuss it at the next meeting?
Let's have a draft ordinance and then we can maybe tweak it from there.
I know the details that we're looking at, so
Yep.
I'll get with Derek on it.
Thank you very much. Also, too, in driving around and doing everything that we were doing, we found that we also had a lot of properties that are still they're in the city limits, but they are in the county. And so there's nothing that we can offer them except code enforcement on the county end. But in getting the map from Mr. Nybert and Lori, I noticed that we have a lot of enclaves. And I know that and it's just more than just Seminole Street and that kind of thing. I would really like to see us do a workshop on enclaves. It would bring us up to date. I know that the last time that you all dealt with that was 2016. Is that correct, Lori? We talked about that 2016?
We requested of the county in 2016 an
Okay.
agreement to allow us to annex the enclaves, and
Mhm.
we're told no.
Okay. I have spoke with Commissioner Campione. She actually called me, and we discussed it, and she said she'd be more than happy to attend the workshop and help us work through that process. What that looks like for us, and, you know, I'd like to see us have a workshop on that.
Yeah.
All right. And that's about it for right now. Thank you for indulging me.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make.
Yes, ma'am.
I just had two thoughts. One, I'd like to see us revisit the retreat items, because there are things on there that we had said we would do, and just kind of follow up, make sure that they're getting done. And also, what did you have in mind, and when did you have in mind to have a budget workshop?
That'll be, Mike and Ron will have to get together.
Yeah, we don't start the budget process till like February or March, later, probably early March.
Yeah, so it'll be a little, they need to get into the process some, and then I would like to see if they could do presentations from each one of our departments back to us, just so we know exactly what they're looking at.
Would you rather just do a review of what our budget looks like and how the funds look like? We can do that pretty much any time. Just how the budget, different funds function.
Mike, will you get with Ron and kind of go over what we used to do, if you don't mind? And then we can talk.
I know what you used to do.
Yeah, and that's really what I think it's.
So do you want to
fair
just part
for
of
the three of them?
As part of the review of the new budget, or
Yes.
Okay.
We could probably do both, a review of the old and.
No, you you'd just be turning around doing it again. I mean,
Yeah.
It's
Let's
a
just
very
do the new budget.
what's the word I'm looking for?
It's very time consuming.
Consuming, it's time consuming.
We spent 3 or 4 days going over that. And then we would schedule maybe 3 or 4 hours a day and sit down
I
and
like
do
the
it.
idea of the departments coming to us and explaining and going through it, so we get to know them too.
You
So
get to know
that's
them,
good.
and you'll also know how to explain back in the community exactly where their money's being spent.
I like it.
So, okay. Karen, any reports tonight?
No, I have no reports. I realize I'm not on any committees, so
Well,
when
we
you're
can fix
starting
that.
on the way over. But
Deal for you.
no, I just want to say, make sure you go down and look at Harper's Alley. It's starting to look good. It's going to be amazing. Tilly's
Beautiful.
and I totally forgot, but okay.
It's beautiful.
Then we have our great George Fest coming, and I encourage everyone to practice safety. And I want to wish Karen Carroll a happy birthday, because I know you're usually watching, and she is celebrating today. So,
Great.
yay.
Miss Emily, anything to report?
Yesterday, I had a really joyful time at the radio station, and Aaron was there, and well, we call him Sir Lancelot, but it's King Polly, and we had a good conversation. I enjoyed that very much, and I look forward. I've been practicing, and so I'm looking forward to the parade. Yeah, and just I hope everyone comes and enjoy themselves and take care of themselves and each other too.
Thank you, Emily. Nan?
Yes, I just want to say thank you again to Tom and Ron for allowing him to go with us. The Great Way Grant has been very successful. We've had probably about 4 or 5 applications, you think, and there's more to come. And so I'm just thankful that you gave him, allowed him the time to do that, and you just did a great job, and I appreciate that very, very much. So thank you. Also, too, I noticed that the police presence has really stepped up in Eustis. You guys are doing a great job, and I just want to say thank you very, very much. You guys are doing a good job. I see you guys everywhere. It means I have to slow down. But because Derek told me I can't get out of that ticket anymore. So, but thank you. It looks really, really good. And I also want to say I think it might be Rick, I'm not sure, but I was actually cutting through I visited over at Carver Park, and so I was headed back to our dealership, and I noticed at Palmetto Point Park that the fence has been repaired, so I thank you very much. It's looking very good.
Thank you. Willie?
The first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to thank Antonio for
Absolutely.
coming.
Yes.
You know, for a young man to come and do that, I couldn't have done it. You know, I'm 62 years old and I couldn't do that. So I'd like to thank him for that. I was contacted by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and they're looking to do a cleanup in the East End. And they're looking for, city involvement, groups, businesses, things like that. So I'd like to get that out there.
If you could have the head of the organization contact me, I can set up a meeting.
Perfect. Perfect. And they're looking to do that March 13th. So I haven't reached out to you. One of the things that, while I'm out in the community, and I think you all know that I get out and I talk to people, as we all do, but I had the pleasure of talking to one of the teachers at Eustis High School, and they were looking to do the senior prom at Barron Park. Some things happened, and they couldn't get their money back from the previous venue, so they're going to do it at Mission Inn. But they were very excited that the commission, took the time to sit and talk to them and to try and make things happen. We reached out to Ron and Aaron, and we actually made it happen. They just couldn't get their money back. So I'd like to see us as a commission do more with the school. I'm actually going tomorrow to talk to the principal at the high school, and I'm going to talk to him about the chamber. I think it's important that they're a member of the chamber. when they come to us to use the facilities, we give it to them. So I think we should have that give and take. One of the things, and I know this may be a little controversial, I know that the fire department has fire inspectors, and they go out and they inspect for fire problems. One of the things I'd like for us to think about, and again, don't throw anything at me, is, we have code enforcement. Why do we not have code enforcement under the police department?
It's more of a land use issue. It's related to land use issues, and they're more administrative violations as opposed to criminal violations. So a lot of the issues are land use related that we deal with. So obviously, we have the technical expertise under Lori in terms of the land use issues. So it's easier for her to administer that department from a land use standpoint than it is from a, quote, police enforcement standpoint.
The thing that concerns me is the incident that happened with the gentleman pulling the gun. And I'd like our guys to be carrying at least one of them.
Our
Yes.
code enforcement individuals?
Yes.
Okay.
At
I
least one.
know in the past, if Eric's had a lot of experience with some of the folks, if he believes that there's going to be a problem, he's always called the department, and they've always been there to support him. But if we want to consider allowing our code enforcement officials to carry, obviously we'll have to talk with the attorney and what other things we need to do to evaluate what we need to do that.
And I'm not a big proponent of everyone carrying, but the opportunity for things to go sideways, I think is there. So that's it.
That it?
That's it.
How did the soccer banquet go?
It went well.
Good.
Yeah, it went well, and I was Dad of the Year.
I saw that. Congratulations. Mr. Nyberg.
I have nothing this evening, other than we're excited to be meeting with Atrium Development next week to try and finalize issues on the development. This week, between now and Tuesday when we meet with them, I'll be reaching out to you to have some conversations regarding some details on that project to get your opinions. I know I spoke a little bit with Commissioner Hawkins regarding it, but I'll be reaching out for maybe half an hour to talk about some of the key issues on that to gauge what your opinions are on those individually. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Attorney.
Nothing.
Wow. All right. Sounds good. I want to start by just thanking this commission. I know that we've just gotten started together, but what a great group. We're showing up to workshops together. We did the chili cook-off. We won People's Choice. So thank you. Thank you for your involvement. I think this community is going to be better off because of us being active and working together. Today I was able to go to a Rotary Luncheon where our fire department was honored because of the food drive they did. So I want to thank our community and the chamber and everyone for helping bring in the food. We went over to Lake Cares and they were able to give that out. Our fire department raised more than Mount Dora and Tavares combined. So thank you to everybody that worked on that. Looking forward to George Fest. George Fest is going to be fun. It's going to be, I think a lot of people will come out just to be outside, but we do encourage you to wear your mask, social distance, keep your hands washed and cleaned, and do everything you can to protect yourself and each other and others while you're outside. Even though we're in the open air, we need to be careful. There are vaccination centers starting to open around our city and in our city. As we know more, we will get that information out to you. And the health department is the one controlling that, the Florida Health Department. So as vaccines are available, the fire department will be helping get those things out to the community. So just be patient. They are coming. and we are fighting to get those for our communities. So with that being said, we're going to close our meeting tonight. Thank you for staying here with us. We're adjourned.